probably watch it later. This is filmed pretty early. And yes, it's raining. Raining pretty bad over here. And I watched the game at work and said, well, there's some things I want to say. Get off my chest. First and foremost, I knew this was going to be a very difficult task in beating the Warriors. Why? Because, well, history tends to repeat itself here. We've lost 4 times to them, and this is our 5th matchup in the playoffs against them. I'll put it to you like this. I thought defensively we did pretty good to start the game off. The Warriors were like 2 for 14 behind three-point arc for pretty much all the first quarter and pretty much half the second quarter. And then from there, they just kind of sped things up, and we fell defensively after that. And once they got the lead, it seemed like there was no way that we could manage to get back in this game. The sad thing about it is you'd figure, well, we out-rebounded them. And we also had 22 offensive rebounds and still couldn't produce any points on it. A lot of our shots looked forced. A lot of it looked like we hesitated. And it kind of sucks when you got one guy that's really just, Şengün just really is the one carrying the team with 26 points. But yet, Amin Thompson only had 8. And Jalen Green, supposed to be in beast mode, is only had 7 points. He struggled from pretty much the entire night. Dylan Brooks, 11 points. It's not going to cut it. Fred VanVleet, 7 points? It's not going to cut it, man. Offensively, we just couldn't get going until maybe the very start of the game and maybe slightly towards the 5, 6, 7 minute mark of the fourth quarter. Other than that, we really didn't have much of an offensive output at all this entire game. We were playing catch-up most of the time. Man. The Golden State Warriors struggled behind three-point arc. But somehow, they managed to get their mojo firing. I said it before, if you have Curry going off, you got to shut down Jimmy, or vice versa. That did not happen. And Curry had, 31? And hit some big-time key three-point shots towards the end, especially one from 28 feet from the side corner arch. Drew a double, just heaved it in the air. Lucky shot, but it went in. He hits those kind of shots, so it's nothing really new to see. Jimmy G kind of was explosive on the defensive side of the ball and managed to finish with, 25 points. Other than that, they only had, 2 or 3 guys in double figures, so it really wasn't that bad. I mean, I said if Golden State won game 1 in our home floor, the series was going to begin. And boy, was it that just happened. It's just unfortunate that we out-rebounded this team, had more offensive rebounds, and yet still managed to lose the game. But nonetheless, we have a team that's very inexperienced. A bunch of young guys for the first time testing their playoffs. Other than Fred VanVleet and Steven Adams, I mean, the rest of the team is for most of these guys. Well, Dylan Brooks did make the playoffs, I think, 1 or 2 times with Memphis. But other than that, most of our guys are, it's their first year in the NBA playoffs. So I knew this was going to be a tough task from the start. This isn't it's James Harden and Chris Paul and Dwight Howard going up against the Warriors, like it was in the previous years. Westbrook and, Trevor Ariza, and I can go on and on and on. But these are a bunch of young guys. So I knew that this wasn't the same Rockets team that was going up against Golden State Warriors team like we did in the past, where our best went up against their very best. Now it's just it's experience versus youth. And so, they still got Dre. Sure, Clay's not there anymore. You still got Curry. And then you still got Jimmy that they picked up in the trade, who, by the way, I think the Warriors are 21-4 or something since that trade. Pretty fascinating finish, might I say. And that was a great addition that the Warriors picked up, because if they didn't pick up Jimmy G, they possibly might have wouldn't even made the playoffs. Be honest with you, they might have would have just missed the play-in tournament. But with that being said, the Warriors came in and they beat us to start the series. And I said this from the beginning, this was going to be a 7-game series. But I think that the Warriors really did expose the fact that we have a bunch of inexperienced guys, young guys that are in the playoffs and that are, trying to get over that playoff high. Because, to be honest with you, the playoffs is a lot different than the regular season. And the Warriors definitely have that experience in depth, with Curry, with Dre, with Jimmy G. And it's not going to be an easy task at all. And the Warriors came in, they smacked us right in the mouth. So game 2 coming up Wednesday. It's going to be at 8:30. It's going to be the last game, and this is a must win. We have to win this game. We have to come out and have a stellar performance. If we're going to get offensive rebounds like we did in this last game, 22 offensive rebounds, you got to get points off of that, man. You have to get points off of that, first and foremost. I thought defensively, again, we did very well to start the game off, and they were heaving up a bunch of threes, and they simply weren't going in. But there were many times where they were open. Like I said, we just have to continue to put the pressure on them consistently throughout the game and not just, spurts of the game. Well, I thought the Warriors played okay. I thought, at the beginning of the game, they didn't really play too well. I thought maybe towards the second quarter they did, and towards the ending of the fourth quarter, they played well. But I thought that the pace was very sort of even throughout the game. But like I said, we played catch-up most of the time. Can't do that. We started the game up 7-0, and we took our foot off the gas immediately. We got lazy on defense, allowing Curry to get open, allowing other players to get open as well. So we can't get lazy on defense. Got to come out with some firepower, guys, especially in this game 2 coming up on Wednesday. And I will be off for that game. Thank God. And I will be streaming the game. Not showing the game, audio play-by-play. Probably at Bogies, most likely. But I knew before the series started, I said, if we're not careful, we're going to get exposed because of our lack of experience in playoff. And it clearly showed. Game 1 was definitely that. Jalen Green looked nervous out there. That's just me, but I sort of noticed that he looked very nervous. He didn't look too confident like he normally does during the regular season. And that's because, we're in the playoff mode, so it's a lot different than the regular season. So I could kind of understand why these guys would step onto the court, and know that this is a different animal, different game, 7-game series. It's a lot different than the regular season. There's a lot more strategies involved. Sure, the basket's the same and the court's the same length or whatever, but there's a lot more strategy involved. And, playing the Warriors at the 7th seed, they're a very hot team coming in. Like I said, they had the best record in the league after the Butler trade. So we knew that this wasn't going to be easy. And I said it myself in my predictions. I said, I don't think the Rockets are going to win this series, but I think we can make it a 7-game series. Due to the fact that we went 3, we lost. The Warriors beat us 3 out of 5 in the regular season, so I said we're pretty much evenly matched at this point. We won the last game in Golden State, so I figured, okay, so this is an evenly matched series, probably going to go best of 7. But I could tell you this, this is the first time out of all the 5 times we played, and I've been to all the games, by the way, all the home games. I can honestly say that this is the first time that I don't feel overly hyped going into the matchup like I did in previous years where I talked a lot of shit and did my hate week videos and all that. So the other thing, I have some of those videos up, by the way. I might have them in the private. I'll unprivate them if that's the case. But this is the first time that I actually didn't talk shit before the series started, because I looked at it from the outside perspective and said, you know what, man, we got a bunch of inexperienced guys, man. We're going up against a very experienced Golden State Warriors team who've won championships, got championship players still there, and acquired an all-star and Jimmy G. It's going to be hard to compete against that. We're like significantly the underdogs in this, despite the fact we are a number 2 seed. And this is our first winning record in 5 years since the Harden trade. So I knew that a lot of our guys have been rebuilding and that this team is trying to figure out an identity. And I felt for the most part that, for us to finish 52 wins this year, that's not too bad. Finish the second place finish. We went 52 wins. That's not that bad. But I knew in the playoffs it was going to be another animal, and it's like, could we be able to replicate that same success going into the playoffs like we are in the regular season? And I think the Warriors exposed us for that. Obviously, the fact that our inexperienced youth. Now, they got some young guys too, but they also got many more veterans than we do with championship experience. I think the only one we got is Fred VanVleet, who won a championship with Toronto. But other than that, you still got Curry, you got Jimmy G. That's going to be a lethal combination right there. And it seems like their team is playing a lot better since Jimmy's been there. And I said that the Golden State Warriors are definitely better than their seed, which is what are they currently right now, 7? So they're better than 7th place, in my opinion. And it showed in that game. So they came in our house in a tough environment, based on previous experience in the past that Curry's played us. And he came in and got the win. And, the Warriors got the win. I don't want to just say Curry, but the Warriors got the win. And this is, that grudge match that Houston and Golden State has for each other that has a lot of history behind it. Like I said, we played them 4 times. We haven't managed to beat them yet. We don't have the formula for success there. I don't know what it's going to take. It probably wouldn't surprise me if we lose this series. I just, want us to get better in terms of, defending the 3-point shot, making Curry contesting a lot of his shots, continue the double team, continue the pressure off the pick and roll, stop giving him open looks. And most importantly, if we're going to get rebounds and offensive rebounds, we need to put points on the board, and a lot of the times I saw, Jalen would drive the ball in and almost traveled a couple of times or went up and down. It's an old basketball term, but instead he would just dish it off instead of taking a shot. I'm like, dude, take the goddamn shot and stop being so nervous, man. I get it, it's a playoff jitters, but just, do you, man. Even if you have a bad night, I'd rather you just, say, hey, look, the shots just weren't going in. Okay, that's fine, but just he looked very nervous out there. Many of our players did. And respectfully so, I get it. They're a young team and, up and coming. And, we're still going to take some years to build this new youth of young guys that I like, by the way. I like all the guys that we have on our team. Even Jabari Smith Jr., Torrey Easton's another one coming off the bench is phenomenal. So, like I said, we got a bunch of players on our team that are up and coming and building this new team in this franchise. We don't have the James Harden or the Chris Paul, or the Trevor Reeves, or the Dwight Howard anymore. We're completely on a new clean slate of young guys, and these guys are fun to watch. No doubt in my mind, they're fun to watch. But we got to, unfortunately, go through the pain in order to get to the success later on in life. Like I said, we only been in the playoffs 1 time with this core of guys in what it is now the 5th year since James Harden left. So, yeah. Adams need more minutes. I thought Thompson was going to lock up Curry. I thought the same thing. Combined Jalen Green and Thompson had a combined 15 points between both of them. And that obviously didn't happen. VanVleet was behind Lowry. No one seems to remember. I know that. Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I said, it was just a bad night. The lack of inexperience showed of playoff depth between most of these guys that are on our roster. A lot of them look nervous, and respectfully so. I can understand that because look who we're playing against. We're playing against a team who's won 4 rings. There's been like 6 finals and has Curry and Dre still on the team, and Jimmy's had a couple of finals appearances. I believe he's had 1 or 2 in his career. So. Yeah, you're going to be a little bit nervous going up against a team full of talented players, and not to disrespect Prozinski. He's pretty phenomenal player as well. You got Looney that's still on the team, who's pretty good. So there's still other players on Golden State that can step up and make shots. I'm not going to sit here and just surround it around three guys, but you know, I mean, obviously Curry and Butler were the main two pieces of Game One, and you know they both combined for 56 points. That you know when our guys, you know, again, um, you know, Alperen only had what 26, and then the rest of the guys are like 11 points and under. Pretty bad. You know, Thompson, what was it? Min Thompson had 11. What was it? Fred VanVleet, I think, had 7. And Jalen Green had 7. I mean, it was just all around, just it's not enough points. And we need points. And as bad as Golden State played, they still managed to beat us by 10. You know, despite the fact that we out rebounded them in total rebounds and then 22 offensive rebounds. You can't put up points, you're not going to win. And you know, again, it wasn't shocking that we lost this game. I wasn't shocked at all. And you know, I came in with this with a more of a humble experience rather than boisterous and shit talking like I did the previous 4 times. You know, now I kind of look at it from a different perspective. Well, this is a new team, new young core guys. So this is a different animal or a different strategy that we have to apply. And, you know, but like I said, I hate Golden State only because they've beaten us 4 times. So it's like that chip on my shoulder I'm trying to get off. And so I would like to go into game 2 and see a spark, some sort of spark. But I need to see more from Jalen Green, obviously. That's like one of the main guys that I want to see show out in game 2 on Wednesday. So hopefully we approach this with another strategy, and we need to step up on the defensive side of the ball and stop giving them so many opportunities for threes. I mean, I know we live in a 3-point, you know, era where you're heaving up threes, and you know, well, you know, what do they say that the stats they call it? Well, you know, they say. You know, analytics say if you shoot more threes, you make more or something. Well, we need to put a stop to that shit. We need to play some better defense. Stop. I mean, again, I know we doubled Curry and he heaved up some nice threes in the fourth quarter that kind of sealed our faith. I just say we just got to continue that pressure. Because like I said, it's just I want to see that consistently throughout the game. That's what I want to see. And we got to score points, man. 85 is just not enough. We got to score points. Other players got to step up. So that's all I pretty much have to say. You know, we lose the game by 10. I think we were down by 23 at one point. We managed to come back. So that was kind of cool. Like the fact that the Rockets did show some fight. We, you know, managed to, you know, battle back into the game. But at the end of the day, it just, you know, wasn't enough. You know, we need to come out with a different strategy in the next game. We, you know, started the game off 7-0. So that's not bad. You know, you can take a little bit of positives out of that. You start the game off 7-0. You put the Golden State Warriors at 2 for 13 for the 3-point line. The first quarter, that's not too bad. So there's some positives there. I felt like the first quarter we kind of started off with a spark. It just we didn't have any consistency there. And like I said, I think, you know, the Warriors exposed the fact that our guys are, you know, inexperienced in this type of environment, playoffs. I think Van had 10. I couldn't just believe 4 for 19. He was throwing up threes at the end after being 3 and 13. Yeah, that's a good point to bring up. Let's say you guys give Adams 25 plus minutes to set the pace. Yeah, absolutely. We can even talk about incorporating him in the starting lineup, possibly. You know, like I said, game 2 is going to be, you know, if you're the Warriors, obviously you're going to continue to feed the rock to your veterans. I mean, obviously, you know, you're going to do what you do. And there's really no strategy for the Warriors. Maybe they're probably going to try to take Seguin off. Maybe they're going to try to contest him more, double him more. That's why I was explaining that it's very important that we start getting other players involved, because if they're going to start preparing for the boxing in the paint and all that and try to push him out to shoot those 12-footers or whatever and sort of contest his defensively beyond the box to eliminate the offensive rebounding, it's going to be very important that we got other players that are definitely going to have to step up. So, yeah. VanVleet had a bad game, but like I said, I like VanVleet. I think he's been a great attribute since he's been here. It's just, he just had a bad night. It happens. I thought the rest of our guys also had a bad night as well. I don't think it was just him, but yeah, I mean, the 4 for 19, obviously, that's something you can kind of cherry pick out and say, well, his stats are probably better than the other guys. The other guys also weren't stepping up and making shots either. Jalen Green was hesitant to take shots for some reason. A couple of times, it looked like he traveled. That's just me personally. Uh, Trying to take a shot, and he would hesitate in midair and dish it off. It's like you can tell he was nervous to take shots, and maybe it's because other players weren't making them. So he felt like, well, I don't want to contribute to the struggle. Let somebody else. I just fucking start taking those shots, even if you have a bad night. I don't care if you're 0 for 18. I just want to see you take shots, man. It's important. Uh, other than our center, everybody else did bad today. So, I mean, we had some spurts and some good moments, but at the end of the day, it's I'm sure the Warriors can say, oh, well, we did bad behind the 3-point line, and you out rebounded us and stuff, and that maybe is true, but at the end of the day, Curry still found a way to get his 30 plus. Butler found a way to get his 25 plus. We need to find some sort of way to pressure these guys. I don't know what it's going to take, but we got to find some sort of strategy going into Wednesday. Like I said, I didn't have any confidence going into this series at all, considering our inexperienced guys going into the playoffs. But at the same time, I felt, this still should be a 7-game series. But now that, after I saw game 1, I'm kind of like, well, we're kind of our backs against the wall, so we're going to probably most likely to win game 2, because then it would be hard to have to go and make, the force a win a 1 or even possibly 2 in Golden State. I don't see that happening. So we would have to find some sort of way to win on Wednesday and try to tie this series up. You went from the free throw line halfway through the third, 11 for 20 at one point. You guys make all the foul shots. Yeah, that's true. Like I said, I'm not going to sit here and say that it was just inexperience. I think a lot of our guys were just nervous. This is not how the Rockets been playing all year. And I saw this game, and I was like, man, that's not the same team I saw, play throughout the course of the year. The last 3 games, we did lose, but we benched a lot of our starters. And even then, our backup players looked pretty good. And I'm like, damn, we barely lost to the Clippers with like our 3rd-string unit. So I'm like, okay, well, that's not too bad. Maybe, we're giving some guys some playing time and stuff like this. But then I also was worried, well, if we give them too much rest, this could backfire. I was kind of a little bit concerned about that going into the playoffs. But nonetheless, this playoffs has been fun so far. I've managed to watch all the games, all the highlights, all the games. Game 2, I'll be off, so I'll be live streaming the game on my channel and doing audio play-by-play. Probably at Bogies. It's going to be packed. There's going to be a bunch of people up there. So I'll probably just, where you show the face and do the game reactions or whatever. Yeah, I managed to watch all the playoff games so far, so that was pretty cool. I saw Detroit blow like a 10, 12-point lead in the 4th quarter of the Knicks. Should have won that game. Knicks go on a 21-0 run. What other game? The Boston Celtics blew out Orlando. Memphis Grizzlies lost by 52 points. Ouch. They were down by 52-53. Oh, Jesus Christ. And then I saw Denver, or James Harden, the choke artist, choked away yet another playoff game again, despite his 25-point effort or whatever. But at the end of the day, Denver ended up managing to come back and winning. So I don't know if the firing their head coach and their GM was good or bad. I'm still trying to figure that out. But yeah, Denver looks pretty solid. Then I see the Lakers just completely wet the bed after they were pretty much dominating. I felt like they were dominating most of the first half against Minnesota, only for Minnesota to jump out and just completely kick the shit out of the Lakers, despite Luka having a 37-point game. So I figured, hey, Lakers winning, Lakers in 5, and it's like, wow, they might actually lose the series. Crazy that sounds. I'm looking forward to watching probably Lakers and Warriors, most likely in that 2nd round, in the rematch of the last time they played. So that would be something cool to see the best of the best go at it. And and then I saw Milwaukee. I don't know if Damian Lillard's coming back. What's going on with him? He didn't play in the first game. Blood clots still. I don't know what's going on. But he didn't play at all. And the Pacers, I like the Pacers front court, by the way, it's really, if you guys haven't seen the Indiana Pacers new logo in their court, it's phenomenal. It's got Indy on the side and it's got the Pacer logo with like a fade-in background. It's really cool. It's a really cool logo. I thought it was a nice basketball court. It looked like spray paint was on the court. It was just really unique. But yeah, the Indiana Pacers just completely blew out the Bucks, out the water or whatever. So it's been a fun NBA playoff so far. We're just barely through the first round of games right now. Hey, what's up, Azul? I didn't see the game, but I saw OKC massacred. Oh, absolutely. They whipped their ass. The game wasn't worth watching. Mavs would have been better matchup. Oh, absolutely. If Kyrie was playing, I think that Dallas would have actually won that game. Speaking of which, I'm going on vacation July 2nd to the 14th. Or the 13th, I'm going to go watch my Texas Rangers play. We play Baltimore on the 2nd. So I'm actually going to, I went on vacation to go buy tickets to go watch them play in the new. I haven't been to the new Ranger Stadium yet, so I've been saying I want to go. I'm a Rangers fan. I want to go watch my Rangers play. But it sucks because majority of these first round matchups are very one-sided besides Clippers Nuggets. Oh yeah, that is true. Well, technically Detroit was beating the Knicks by 12. It's just the Knicks went on a 21-0 run. But I'll tell you what was the worst matchups, the 2-7 matchups, except for us. And I guess you can articulate Warriors and Rockets were somewhat still entertaining. Even though I think most people knew the Rockets were probably playing catch up the entire game and all the inconsistencies. You figure, okay, well, the Rockets are going to lose, but at least they're trying. But you look at Miami, you look at Orlando and Memphis, and completely just shit the fucking bed. And LA, maybe LA too. You can throw the Lakers in there. The Bucks Pacers was an okay matchup. It was an okay game. If Lillard would have played, I think it would have been different. I think the Bucks can still win that series if Lillard plays. But if Lillard doesn't play, I think the Pacers win, hands down. Cleveland, despite the fact of their injuries, they look pretty phenomenal. Strauss, I think is his name. You got Garland. You got Evan Mobley. Donovan Mitchell's a beast. Had a pretty damn good game. Sam Merrill. I like the young and talented Cleveland Cavs. I actually said they might lose the first round, and now they might actually win the first round. But yeah, the playoffs have been fun. It's been exciting to watch so far. Rockets fans, I'm going to be honest with you. And this is probably going to be a lot of pain to swallow in this one, okay? I know that the Warriors beaten us 4 times in a row. It wouldn't shock me if it happens a 5th time. And I say that respectfully because of the fact we're a young team. And it's a different era than when it was when we saw James Harden and Chris Paul and Dwight Howard and Trevor Ariza and all those guys. It's a different roster now. And it wouldn't shock me if they win. And it wouldn't shock me if the series ends early. And I'm just being honest because of all these intangibles, the nervousness of this team. Unless we have a really good game 2, and I'm talking about Amin Thompson is in regular season mid form in the playoffs. Jalen Green is in regular season form. Fred VanVleet's not, heaving up shots at 4-19 again. Defensively, we're getting some stops. The game is real close. It sort of looks similar to the game in Golden State we played before the end of the season. If we have a good game like that, and we do not win, it's probably going to end in 4. And I say that with respect. Not to be like, all downer or whatever. Because in the past, I always said we're going to beat Golden State. And I did my hate weeks and all that and did my intro and all that shit. Now I have a different sort of approach to it because of the situation. We don't have the James Hardens or the Chris Pauls and all these guys. It's their first time making the playoffs. It's going to be hard. It's going to be a tough task. And it's, don't get me wrong. I want us to win. We finished 2 and we had 52 wins, but just realistically, it's going to be a difficult task. It's just, Again, at the end of the day, I make it sound like, oh, let's stop Curry and Butler and it'll be all gravy. It's not as easy as it sounds, on paper. Plus, a lot of those young guys have played around Curry and played around uh, Dre and all that, so they've already have been acclimated into that experience role, and then they have a guy who can, give you 30 a night, and the other role players can still put in their 5 or 6 or 7 and be okay. So we don't have that on our squad at the moment, but in years' time, when we build, possibly, we can emerge new stars because I want to see Jalen Green emerge as a guy that can give you 30 a game. So there's still time with this rebuilding process. You see what I'm saying? So, but thanks for the Nets for giving us all your first round picks because without you, this would have never happened. This would have never happened. So without you, this would have never happened. So, like I said, Game 2 is Wednesday night. It's a must win. If we do not win, it's probably over in 4. The pressure is going to be even worse. You got to go to Golden State and win at least one. The force 3-1 back here, but probably would have to win 2. That's not going to happen. So, in order to get the split in Golden State, we got to get a split here. So we have to win Game 2. It's a must. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We have to win Game 2. We'll go ahead and read it. First rounders are in 4 or 5. I thought the Magic were going to put up a better fight. Just need Van to hold Steph the whole game at this point. Sucks because majority of these first round matchups. Yeah, I agree. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, most of these series are going to end early, but maybe it just may make for a better second round. You got Lakers, and Golden State, or if Wolves win, possible maybe the Wolves could put up an Ant-Man. Denver, OKC would be a good second round matchup. Cleveland and Pacers would be a phenomenal matchup there. Could Pacers edge the Cavs? And then, or would the Cavs went on and go to the Eastern Conference Finals? And then you would have Boston versus New York. So there's obviously going to be some good second round matchups. And like I said, the series isn't over yet. Still got a lot of basketball left to be played. But well, like I said, this is it's definitely a learning experience for us, man. And Rockets fans, it's not, it's funny because I've been to Rockets games. Been to a lot of them. I've trash talked with a lot of fans up there, opposing fans, especially from other rival cities, Mavericks, Spurs, Lakers, Celtics, Sixers, Warriors, especially. There's no secret about it. I've Warriors fans, tend to troll a lot when talking shit, and that's okay. They're in a position where they have that right at this moment. They've beaten us 4 times. They're going up against us in a 5th time. They know we're inexperienced, so they have every right to talk shit. You know what I'm saying? And until we beat them and gain a little confidence in the series, then they're going to continue. It's going to continue to be the same way. So I expect them to. And if I was in the same position, I would do the same thing. So different than when I talk shit to Jaguars fans or Titans Hards or the Colts. Well, other than Indy. But when I talk shit to Titans and Jaguars saying we own you, because we do. But with that being said, that's beyond, that's another topic, another discussion. Because football's different, I'll wait for the draft, by the way, NFL draft coming up. And seeing who the Texans will get. Obviously, we need some offensive linemen, linebackers. We could probably use an extra running back, maybe an extra receiver because we lost our boy Diggs. Decided to go take his talent to New England, but that's another here nor there, another video to discuss on football. But we play Wednesday, so we got a couple of days off. Come in with a new strategy. Obviously, I would like to see them figure out a way to contest Curry more. It's going to be hard, but the double teams are great. You're forcing them to take those 23, 24-foot shots. We just got to keep the pressure going, and we got to figure out a way to put a hand in the face or something. Find a way to contest some of these shots that he's taking because it looks like a lot of them are just way too easy, and we have to figure out a way to put a little bit of pressure on him. offensive rebounding. That's great. Let's keep that going. Let's get some points from it, though. Get those rebounds and get the points. And also, hopefully, we can shake off the playoff jitters, the nervousness, and all that. And we can see more production from Amen Thompson and Jalen Green because, the 11 points and the 10 or 8, I think 8 Jalen had. It's not enough. So we need other guys that are definitely going to step up. Definitely other guys that are going to step up. Marvin said we have more players in double figures than they did. I mean, that may be the case, but it doesn't really matter when Curry and Butler make up a 56 points combined. Our guys were double figures, but what did they get, Marvin? 11, 10? Did we even have a guy beyond 11? Our center. Other than that, who else? No one else went above 11 points, if I'm correct. So no, it's not just about getting the 10 points. We need players to step. We need probably like 2 guys that can score at least. We need we need one guy that can score 20 like him. Like I was hoping Jalen Green would be that guy or Amen Thompson, but obviously it didn't happen today. Will that change in game 2? It's a possibility, but yeah, but we have to win this game. It's a must-win. It's no doubt in my mind that this has to be a must-win for the Rockets to push this series beyond 4, in my opinion. I think down 2-0 in the playoffs, going to Golden State's going to be a very difficult task. So we have to figure out a way to win game 2. It's a strategy. Like I said, we have to figure out a way to strategize against Curry, even if we have to switch matchups. I know at first they put Amen on him, and then I think D. Brooks switched up on him. I know Curry was guarding him on the defensive side of the ball to start off the game. Maybe we can switch guys up if we have to. Figure out a way to contest those easy layups, easy 3-point shots that he was getting, and figure out something. You know what I'm saying? We need a game plan, a strategy going into the second game. It's in our house, and nothing's worse than losing the first game at home. At home, and then, just sets the seed right there because then the pressure's on us to have to win the next game. Jalen Green is going to get traded this year. Why would he get traded? Why would we trade Jalen Green when he is on a rookie contract still? Doesn't make any sense. I wanted them to win, but I took Van under 16.5. He got a few points early. None of his shots were open, but like one. I agree, but I said he hesitated to take those shots. And he would go up and then just dish the ball off at the end after he's driving it in. I'd rather him just heave it up and just see where it goes. That's what I want to see. I want to see more effort. No, he doesn't suck. That's your opinion, sir. Have you not seen his games during the regular season? Absolutely not. You're judging based on one playoff game, and it's his first playoff game, might I add. Very first one, sir. His very first playoff game. Amen Thompson, I thought, did really well on defense at the start of the game. Yeah, he did. Like I said, we jumped off the 7-0 lead, Marvin. And like I said, we took our foot off the gas. Like I said, when you're getting 22 offensive rebounds, you got to get points off of that. It's as simple as that. And not to mention that the Warriors were struggling at the 3-point line to start the game off. 2 for 13. They started the game off. So it's not like that they just had a great, phenomenal night like we did, like we did it. They had some blunders as well in their offensive game. But like I said, when it mattered the most, they made some good shots. Also, I wanted to address Rachel's comment on Facebook. She mentioned something about, excuse me, she mentioned something about some calls that didn't go in our favor, like the out-of-bounds play that should have been our ball. I did look at the replay, and like it did happen. We didn't have a challenge apparently, so we couldn't challenge the out of bounds play. So I did see that, and there was like another one that they're talking about. I didn't get a chance to look at that one, but at the end of the day, I don't think it really matters anyway. I don't want to like narrow the game down. I mean, I get it. We were like down by like 6 or 5. And then that out-of-bounds play that Steven Adams was complaining about should have been our ball. Technically, it should have been, but, I mean, I'm not going to center around the fact if you look at, like, the totality of the game and then you kind of just factor it in on one play, to be the deciding factor. I think it's kind of a little ludicrous, The fact is that, we out-rebounded the Warriors but didn't get any offensive output out of it. And the fact that all of our guys pretty much had a bad game. Just, simple as that, And, there's some moments of the games where we look good. Like I said, we were down by 23 and came back. So there were some, moments where we were hitting some shots and getting some defensive stops in the beginning of the fourth quarter and towards the end of the third quarter. So there's moments where we did look nice, but it just, again, it wasn't enough to get it done. His last two performances before this game, single-digit points. Last game, 0 field goals made. Good point. Then they were 11 for 13 after that. Are you referring to the 2 for 13 start? Is that what you're referring to, the 11 for 13 after that? Like I said, I'm not here to make any excuses. I just said, I just gave my thoughts and analysis of the breakdown of the game. Like I said, I'm coming on 0 hours of sleep because I work overnight anyway. And then I got to work 6 to 6 today, but I am off Wednesday, so I will be streaming that game. So that's one blessing I will have. And, like I said, we still got, another 3 days off? 3 days off before game 2, so that gives the Rockets plenty of opportunity to strategize, figure out what the strategy is going to be, and then, kind of apply it and see which goes, and see what happens, Like I said, it's a must win. I'm going to say right now, if we lose game 2, it's over. Series over. I'll still do my breakdown of game 3 and game 4, analysis, go over it and all that, but I'm looking at it from just a realistic standpoint rather than like a fan perspective in previous years. I just look at it like, we have a lack of inexperienced guys their first time making the playoffs. This is going to be a very tough hurdle to jump over, going up against a team who's won championships in the past, and, has still some of their championship players on their team and, 2 peripheral all-stars, superstars on their teams. It's not going to be as, easy to overcome that, but like I said, the series isn't over yet. We still got plenty of time left. So, like I said, we have to get it together for game 2 and see what coach puts up together for us. 11 for 13 after that. Hold on, let me read the other comments. Marvin said, I still got this going 7 series. Not if we don't win game 2. We don't win game 2, that's a wrap. So we got to come out and win game 2, bro. Again, I agree with you, Marvin. I'm not being a anti-homer or whatever. I'm not rooting against my team. Hell nah. I still want us to come out and win. Absolutely. But I'm just being realistic. Looking at it from a realistic perspective. What series you'll enjoy the most? Well, Rockets Warriors. I guess I would say Clippers Nuggets. Just because the Clippers had a good lead and they fucking blew it. I was actually rooting for the Clippers to win that game. Even on my prediction video, I did pick the Nuggets. But I had the Clippers winning. I thought the Clippers were going to win. And they were hot, red hot and fiery, man, and they blew it. Do you think all these series end in sweeps? I don't think that's going to happen. Like I said, you were basing on one game, game 1 for all the games. No, if Damian Lillard comes back, I think the Bucks can still win that series. If Damian Lillard comes back, I think they still got a chance to win that series. It's just he didn't play in game 1, and you can't put all the pressure on Giannis Antetokounmpo to do all the work by himself. Lakers and Wolves is going to be fire too. Yeah, that's going to be a good series. Like I said, in my prediction video, I picked Golden State to beat us in 7. I picked the Lakers to beat the Wolves in 5. Am I going to be wrong on that? Or do the Lakers somehow find a way to win 4 in a row? I did pick Denver over LA Clippers in 7. I did pick the Thunder to beat the Grizzlies in 4. I don't got the series going past 5. Truth if Dame comes back. Yeah, if Dame comes back, I got the Bucks. I think that'll go 6 or 7. Well, probably 7 most likely. I got Cavs to win in 5. I got Boston in 4. And I did pick Boston in 4 from the beginning. And I got the Detroit Pistons to upset the Knicks in 7. That's who I got. Lakers in 6. Okay. Like I said, it was a fun game 1 for the most part. At least the Rockets managed to come back. So they did show some fight, and other than that, I think that 3-pointer that Curry hit from that corner arch, I still don't know how he made that. That was that 23-footer from the side corner arch, and I think we had two defenders on him. He just threw it up and it went in. It was just crazy. And I think that was the shot right there that sort of sealed our faith. I think that was around the 5-minute mark, if I'm correct. I got to go back and look at the timestamp mark of when that was, but when that three went in, that sort of solidified the win right there. And then the lead grew from there, and it went up to I think 11. I think Jimmy got a steal and ended up getting a slam dunk on that, if I'm correct, a couple plays later. And that just was sort of what sealed our faith. Like I said, I'm not giving up. I got Boston in 4 over Magic. I think Magic are done. What about Miami? You think Miami can get a win? I think they can get a win at home against Cleveland. Yeah, most of these series are going to end very early. Yeah, maybe that's a good thing. Maybe we'll see what the second round brings. Like I said, the first round ain't over yet. We got Golden State on Wednesday, so man, I can't wait. It's this is probably the first time against Golden State like I'm looking at us as like I don't want to say like an underdog, but I feel like it's like a very disadvantaged underdog. Like in the past before, I liked our roster. Even when we went A seed in the 2015, and we went as the A seed with Dwight Howard, and we went up against Golden State at 1. I really liked that matchup, despite the fact that they were heavily favored in that matchup. But I still went in shit talking. I still liked the matchup, and I felt like we still had like a unit of guys that could still compete with them. So this is a little different. These are just a bunch of young and experienced guys that never been in the playoffs. So it's kind of hard for me to trash talk when the cards are sort of stacked against me. In this case, I don't have veterans on my deck, so I got a bunch of rookie cards. So I have to see how this pans out. But I think this is definitely a learning lesson for us. So we can take this experience and grow from here for years to come. So maybe in a year or two we can maybe be a deep playoff team, from this and learn from this experience. So we can learn something from this even in the face of defeat. We can still learn from this. Grizzlies don't get one. Houston was delusional thinking Curry 1 for 11 in the last game was going to happen again. Are you referring to the last regular season game we played against them? No, I don't think the Rockets suck. No, absolutely not. Because that's the case, we would have lost by way more than that. So no, absolutely not. Like I said, it just came down to us not hitting our shots, getting those offensive rebounds, managed to battle back in the game, and just not hitting free throws, struggling from field goal percentage. But no, we don't suck because we don't normally play like this. We won 52 games, so it's not like we went to the playoffs like 39-43 as an A seed, and that'd be a different story. This is a different. We had 52 wins, so if we sucked, how did we get 52 wins? Is my question. So you gotta look at it kind of like that. You think the rest bought us back? How would you say that? Come on now. How'd the rest bring us back? Come on now, stop. Rockets should have lost by 20 Warriors. We had a lot of stupid turnovers, but they threw the ball directly to Rockets. Okay. I mean, that is true. But we also had a 7-0 lead to start the game, and we put Golden State 2 for 13 from the field. So, I mean, to be fair, we did start the game up 7-0. So, I mean, to be fair, we could articulate that, hey, we could have gotten lead more. Was one-sided besides. Well, like I said, game 2 is going to be interesting. How the Rockets respond to this. What strategy does Golden State apply from the mishaps in game 1 and try to incorporate in game 2? And how do the Rockets respond from this? It's like a game of chess almost now. This is like Golden State took one of our pawns, so how do we respond to that? So it's going to be interesting to see how the strategy is applied in this for Game 2. So I'm looking very forward to the matchup. It's at 8:30. I wish the game was right now, but unfortunately, we have to wait 3 days. Which I guess patience is the key because, like I said, I have to work 12 hours. I work 6 to 6, 5 days a week. So I'm off Wednesday, Thursday, and Wednesday's the perfect time because that's Game 2. And then Game 3, I don't know what games are on Game 3. I think there's 3 games on that Thursday, so I might stream some of the other games too. I don't know. It just depends on what kind of mood I'm in, I guess. But yeah, I can't wait. Like this is another battle test. How do the Rockets respond from this? Do we continue our struggles? Do the turnovers continue? Do we continue struggling from the 3-point line? Do we continue missing free throws? Do Golden State continues to put that pressure on us, or do the Rockets respond with some sort of different approach and different results? It's going to be is it going to be a shootout? Are we going to see the game in the 120s like we did the previous games in the regular season? I mean, how is this? What strategies are both teams what chess pieces are we going to move? Are we going to change the lineups? Are we going to change the matchups on the court? So it's going to be interesting, none to say what the strategy is going to be for both teams. And I guess only one way to find out is to tune in Wednesday. So like I said, it's going to be fun, man, and I can't wait. It's another test, another, what's the word I want to use? It's another hurdle. Like I said, I didn't have to wear the jersey today, Marvin. I got the hat on right here. You don't see the damn hat, bro? I got the hat right here. Like I said, before the series started, I said, that Golden State had the upper advantage. I think Vegas gave us a 1.5 point favor for Game 1. If you want to look that up, I think they gave us a 1.5 point for the spread. And I said before the game, if I was betting odds, I would go against the spread because I would take the points. Well, I would take the points if I was Golden State. If I'm playing for Golden State, so you start the game off 1.5 and then you win by 10. So yeah, you're gonna make a little bit of money there, a little bang for your buck. Game 2, like I said, it's going to be a different animal. I did see Draymond get into it with I did see them get into it. I don't know what that was all about. Obviously, Dre looked kind of like he was trolling a little bit. Someone should go ahead and take the bait. Don't take the bait. Dre's a troll. We know that. He likes to get a little physical. He likes to get under your skin, likes to make you angry. That's the purpose of what he does. It's no more than a modern day Dennis Rodman. He's that kind of guy that's going to get under your skin and try to take you off your game. And that, you can't, I get it, tempers flare. That's part of the nature of the beast. And he's going to do a lot. He's going to keep doing it, you know what I mean, until, to disrupt us, or distract us. We can't allow that. You got to be the bigger person sometimes. So can't allow players to mentally take you off your game. He was sending a statement right there. So it's our job to respond to this next game. But the other players, you need to step up. Amen Thompson, Jalen Green, you got to step up. Van Fleet, same thing. We need all you guys to start stepping up, man. You have to. It's Game 2. You think Steven Adams should play more minutes? I would say so. I would even inclement him probably in the starting lineup just to mix it up a little bit. Maybe, put him at the power forward position. Maybe we can go big on the next lineup, and see what we can do with Adams. But I know Adams will come off the bench most likely. But I would like to see him absolutely, yeah, play more minutes, yeah, absolutely. Like I said, we lost last night. It's just one of those. It's one of those, classic battle rivalries between them and us. It's a rehash of all that. I didn't think we were ever going to play Golden State again in the playoffs. I was shocked. And then when I knew when the Warriors were playing the Grizzlies, I said, shit. If Golden State they win the playing game, they play us. I was like, fuck. I'm like, please Memphis win this goddamn game, so Golden State can go in at 8 and play the Thunder. I had no problem with that. But as soon as they beat Memphis, I was like, fuck. I knew right then and there we were almost kind of screwed going in this matchup. I was like, let's see, we lost them 4-0, inexperienced guys. I'm like, oh, shit. Because if we would have played Memphis, I'd have no problem playing them in the first round. I think we'll beat them. I'm not saying they won't make it a series against us, but we'll probably beat them. But against Golden State in the first round, I was hoping we would avoid those guys. I was saying that when they were at the 3 seed. I think the Rockets dropped from 2 to 4 at one point, and then we kind of got it back. And I'm like, man, I'm hoping that we avoid Golden State or the Lakers in the first round. Like I was really, really hoping because we beaten up Denver, believe it or not. We got their number, we got Memphis number, we got the Clippers number, Memphis number. So I'm like, I don't mind playing those teams, but I don't want to play the Lakers and I don't want to play the Warriors. Oh, it just didn't work out in my favor, man. It wasn't. Yeah, absolutely. I want to see Steven Adams play more. Absolutely. Like I said, I wanted to win this game, but it just didn't happen. It's just part of the. It's just part of the. That's part of the playoffs. You're not going to win every game. I just want us to come out Wednesday with some firepower. I don't want us to get blown out, or to have us play a bad game like we did the other day. Like I definitely am. I'm expecting to see a different game from these guys. I'm hoping they'll take this as like a bad taste in their mouth and just something that they're just going to have to incorporate in game 2 and just come out with some firepower. We need firepower. Where you going to Bogies again? Hell yeah. I'm going to be right at Bogies over there down the street. We're going to watch the game. It's going to be packed. So you guys, if you see me live streaming, you hear a lot of people in the background or see a lot of people, it's going to be packed. That restaurant's going to be packed, bro. Especially for like sporting events stuff since the Rockets game's going to be on. Everybody and their mama going to be up there. So I'm going to have to grab a table probably like 45 minutes before game time. And Wednesday night is 75-cent wing night. And you know what that means, right? Discounts, baby. 75-cent wings. You can't beat that. Who do you got winning today's games? Who playing today? It's Knicks and Pistons game 2. You know what? I think the Pistons are going to win game 2, bro. I think they'll come in and win a game against the Knicks. Tie the series. Who plays after that? I think it's Memphis OKC. No. Is it? No. It's not Memphis OKC. I forgot who the second game was. Oh, it's Clippers and Denver. I think Clippers win and tie the series. So I got Detroit, and I got the Clippers to win. Detroit and the Clippers to win and tie the series. I got both of them. Yeah, it's been raining, man. It's been flooding bad. We've been getting a lot of rain all day, all night. So, yeah, and I got to get some sleep, man. Because I've been up all night working, and then I got to go back to work 6 to 6, so I got to get my 8 hours of sleep. Well, it was fun, guys. And Rockets fans, hey, look, series ain't over yet. Still got game 2, baby. So Wednesday, I'll be live streaming, and we have Bogies games at 8:30 Central. So I don't know what time that'll be y'all's time, but I'll be live streaming it, and we'll watch the game together, and then give my in-depth analysis and game reaction to the actual game, bro. So yeah, it'll be fun, man. So yeah, if you haven't subbed my channel, just go ahead and do it. If you want to come join me 8:30, you can join me. If not, you got other shit to do. Do what you got to do, But yeah, Warriors tickets in game 1, 95-85. And you just got to be prepared for game 2. So hopefully we'll come out with a better strategy. See you game 2.